Lucky Boys Podcast.
So there's one case where this gentleman, street vendor, someone stole his goods, and then he was getting into an altercation. NYPD show up. What did they do? As they should, right? Crowd control. He goes, all right, everyone go to the station house. So he's arrested. The perpetrator's arrested. They're all in the 5th precinct. So these guys that come to me and say, Don, you got to help out. You got to help out. I said, what's going on? He says, then I walk into the precinct, and they said, your friend, that fucking chink, he's like, be a man. He's crying like a baby.
What?
Like,
Who says this?
The cop?
The cop?
The cop. I'm like,
Man,
so I'm like,
right here.
I'm like, why is this guy, honestly, I'm like, dude, you got arrested. You don't need to cry. Like, what's with that? So the chink part I didn't like.
Yeah.
But the things like, why you, so I went and talked to him. I said, why are you crying? It'll be all right. What are you going to do to you? It'll be all right. And he said to me, and this is going back 15, 16 years, more than that at least, not longer.
It's 1980s, 1970s?
80s.
80s, okay.
So he said to me, he says, late 80s. So he said to me, I'm not here to worry about money. He says, I work so hard to save enough money so that I can bring my son over here to this country. If I have an arrest record, I will not be able to be reunified with my family again. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm crying. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It wasn't the money, it wasn't this freaking jail. It was the idea that if I'm falsely accused and then now I cannot be reunified with my family, everything I work for is for my family, right? And that's when I look at these guys, I say, how many people would know that about these guys? What are they fighting for? For the family, right? To me, these are like the strongest people. And, they inspire me to keep doing this, right? To just help out where I can. So, but those are the stories that people don't know about.
And that's the problem with dismissing. When you just look at people and you right away just want to shame them and make them look like, oh, he's less of a man because he's crying. You know what? He's being more of a man because he's crying.
Yeah.
He's being way more of a man. He's worried about taking care of his family, his kids, and bringing them over. He took the risk of leaving to someplace else for better opportunities because he wants what every parent wants for their children is a better future for them to enjoy. Even though the parents won't get to enjoy it, they want their children to have a better life, and that is enough for them. And now he's crying because that's at risk. No. That's his dream, is to be together with his family again one day. He's not working hard for any material product or purchase. He's working hard so that his blood, his family, just so he could hug them again and bring them over. And now that's being at risk because somebody stole something from him.
Right.
And now the people that's supposed to be helping him is calling him a fucking chink and saying and looking at him less of a man. Don't worry about it. Why you crying? You just got arrested. And I know this happened like 2 decades ago, but damn it, it's like we keep recycling the same bullshit,
Well, that's why. But even now, people are saying, well, Chinese people don't fight back. They don't speak up. Well, if you were them, what would you do? If there's a pattern of that, what would you do? Mm-hmm. So I think, especially, Chinese American elected officials, I really hope that they take to heart to understand the people that they're fighting for, right? Stop answering to your masters, the political machine. Mm-hmm. Just remember that one day, that we all have that one day in our life that we got up in the morning and want to do something right. And if you change, think about that one day, because right now, I hear people sitting and say, well, Chinese people don't fight. Maybe there are other reasons, right? Like right. The case in this guy, right? Not that they don't want to fight.
And then when they do fight,
no one
listens.
Well,
in that specific case with the 89-year-old grandma, right?
Absolutely. And same here. They're like saying to me, hey, I have more Asian lawyers calling me and some, I'm not going to embarrass them, but some entity who's supposed to be represent all the Asian lawyers say, well, it really doesn't meet the definition of a hate crime. I'm like, you know what? Start your own freaking petition and say it's not a hate crime. Put your name on it. And you know what else? If you really feel that strongly about it, It is you to use your legal understanding to change the law. Because the intention of it is to protect people. It's not doing it. It's not protecting your people. So stop telling me that the law is, they cannot, it should not be a hate crime. Then fix it. I said, thank God you guys are not around during the Chinese exclusion year. Otherwise, we would still.
Oh my God.
Remember, that too was a law.
It's those people who see that this is not wrong.
Right,
and
because you're absolutely right about that, Don, because the Chinese Exclusion Act was made into law to purposely
prevent the Chinese from coming over. Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, hey, our ancestors fought it and they get it overturned. But then now, in the year 2020, I'm hearing with all the legal training, you guys are telling me this stuff. Well, thank goodness there's another team of lawyers who are working with me on that case. Beautiful. But the same situation with the street vendors. When I put it up to elected officials back then, they said to me, but she did violate the law. I'm like, who wrote the freaking law, right? That the fact that she cannot collect money for her husband who is a wheelchair bound but have a legitimate license just because she collect money and you arrested her. And I said, do you ever go beyond that one step? When she's got arrested, her husband is still wheelchair bound on the street. Other people have to pick this stuff up for him. People just don't. I said, don't just go for that title. If you really care about their lives, look at what their life is like.